Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Woman Show, where we believe truth plus transparency equals healing. Hosted by Trey Kearney, Shayla Williams, Monetta Fields, Regina Howard Norman, Theodora Carter, Sheila Isom, and our girl Regina will be coming in shortly. So, welcome to Woman Show. Good evening, ladies. Good evening. Good evening. How y'all doing?
Good.
Good
Awesome.
evening.
Hi,
Good
everybody.
evening. Good
Y'all doing
evening,
great.
everyone.
I'm just rushing today, and I'm just glad to be here with y'all because y'all actually calm my spirit. So, of course, we are going to start with a moment of gratitude. And let's start with Shayla. What are you thankful for so far this week?
I am thankful that I am getting things done.
Yes, girl. Yes.
For
Let's
me right now, that's huge. I woke up late today, full transparency, woke up late today, but I do feel like I got some things done. I wrote them down last night, what I wanted to get done today, and I am just about halfway through the list. So my night's going to be long, but nevertheless, I'm getting things done.
awesome. Awesome. Netta.
I'm grateful for each of you. I'm grateful for this platform. I'm grateful that I have expectancy that those listening will receive what they're here for.
Awesome. Gina.
I'm thankful to be present and punctual.
Girl, I know that's right. Come on, Theo.
I'm on the line of Sheila and that like Shayla and that I'm grateful that I'm getting some things done. It's Tuesday and I feel like I've gotten a lot of things done that I needed to get done, and I'm grateful for all of you and all of the positive relationships in my life. And I'm grateful that my god sister is doing much better.
Praise God.
Amen.
Come on up in here, Sheila.
I am grateful for just feeling good physically and mentally. Just
Good.
that simple.
Yes, and I am grateful for I'm just grateful for real friends, right? So we're having this topic tonight on relationships, right? And I was thinking about this topic and I wasn't sure if I wanted to do this topic because I had a couple other topics I wanted to run past y'all, and I was like, maybe this one is better, maybe that one is better. But early in the morning yesterday, was it yesterday, Theo? Yesterday. Early in the morning yesterday, Theo called me and said, "Hey, I'm just calling because you was on my mind, and I just wanted to make sure you was good." And I was like, okay. She's like, I'm not gonna keep you. I just wanted you was on my heart, so I wanted to hear your voice. And I was like, okay, God, we're gonna do relationships and the importance of platonic relationships beyond romantic, right? Because everybody's talking about romantic relationships. So tonight we're going to talk about why it's important to have healthy platonic relationships with family, friends, sister girls, and all the way across the board. So good evening, Brittany. Good evening, Bridget. Good evening, Angela. Thank you guys for tuning in and making your presence known. We don't take it lightly. We appreciate you. For those of you listening on Facebook, please share. For those of you listening on YouTube, please share. We love y'all. Love, like, follow, friend, and like each of the beauty flies. We would appreciate that too. So let's get right into this topic and let's talk about the importance of relationships beyond romantic. So, does each and every one of us have a group of friends that we can count on? You guys know I have my core. I call my four best friends my core four. And each of them, what's important is that each of them play specific roles in my life. Even though we all talk in a group chat, there are times when I go to specific each of them for something different, for a different
Right.
need. So we'll start with you, Sheila. Talk about some of your friendships and how important it is.
Well, I have to start with I have my very 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 best friend who actually lives in North Carolina, but we actually have known each other since elementary school, and we really became best friends in junior high, right up in high school. So even though she's moved away, she's still my very best friend, forever and a day. Um, so that's one person that I know I can talk to just anything about. But then I also have several core groups of friends, who I've known for some many, many, many years, and others just over the past few years. Because as I've grown as an individual, I've attracted like-minded women into my circle. So the people that I hang around with, that I have, whether I'm having a deep conversation with, or whether we're just hanging out and getting some laughs because we all need the relief, they're people that I connect with on a mental and a spiritual commonality. Oh, you're muted, Trey.
Come on in, Netta. Tell us about your most, just platonic friendships that bring value to your life.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's super important to have a group of individuals you can go to. And like you were saying, you have a group of friends that maybe are work related, or people who are church related, or people who are like long time ago, like Sheila was saying, back in the day type friends. And I just want to say that everybody isn't like close friends. There's not like your core, but there are individuals that you can connect with for various reasons that bring certain value to your life for a specific purpose. Sometimes those are long term, sometimes short term, but I do have definitely those ladies that are very special to me.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Come on in, Theo.
So I'm like Sheila. I have like several core groups. So I have friends that I met that I've known since seventh grade, since I was 13, right? And so we've been friends for like over 40 years. That's my core. We may not talk all the time, but we get on the phone and it's like we spoken yesterday. Then I have my other core group of friends. It's about 9 of us. We travel together. We celebrate our birthdays together. And it's like you said, Trey, like they all serve a different purpose, right, in my life. And then I have my girlfriend's Pray Tribe. Then I have you guys. And so it's amazing, because there was a point in my life when I actually had said to one of my friends that I'm not making any more friends. Right?
Oh.
and she was like, that's impossible, right? Like you're gonna meet new people. You're going, and it has been true. And I'm thankful that I've been open to meeting new people and embracing new people, because that's how I came to know you, beautiful ladies, and now consider you to be one of those core groups in my life.
I love it. Shayla.
Well, I am a combination of what everyone has said so far. And I have friendships that were there when I was in grade school, friendships that were there when I was in my 20s and started having relationships with men. As one girlfriend that she's my comadre, that she'd been with me through the trenches. And then as she got married and I remained single, and things kind of changed a little bit, but our friendship is still like, if I picked up the phone and we started talking, it'd be the same thing that I think Sheila said. It's like, you know, we spoke yesterday and we just catch up on everything. Then I have friendships that I developed in church, and again, you guys as well. So it's a combination, and everybody brings something to my life, and in some way, shape, or form, I glean off of everybody, and I hope they glean off of me. So it all works together. And I'm sort of an open book. I had to learn to kind of not open the book so much, but but I would express myself, I would share, but I just had to learn, sort of the hard way, that you just have to be careful who you share and how much you share. But I like to be there for people. So yeah.
You like new friends. Say that again, my comadre.
Comadre, which means
Comadre.
I'm comadre. Yes, that means that her children are my godchildren. So I'm her children's godmother. So in Spanish, that we refer to each other as comadre.
Uh-huh.
So co-parent, almost, I think it translates to. So yeah.
I love it. She got to throw that little slang in there. She get me every time.
Oh, you know.
I'm like, come on, girl, say that again for me because I'm gonna use that somewhere out in the streets and say it wrong, but it's okay.
Comadre.
Commodity. I'm gonna be
Yes.
up with my tongue tonight and practicing. Come in, Gina.
Um, I have friends mainly from junior high, high school. I have a few that I've kept in touch with over the years. One, we've been friends for over 40 plus years. And then I have a couple actually that I keep in touch with from college. I have established some really great friends through work over the years. Um, and friends in my community. So it's really a combination, like everyone has said. I've met some really beautiful people when I joined my church, and we're still good, and that's about 30 years now. Um, I think there's some friends are seasons, some are lifelong, and I'm really grateful to have those friends that I can go to for specific things. I think a few of us spoke on that already. Um, I know Netta spoke on that as well, and Sheila, that you have people you go to or that you connect with on different things. Some people you can talk spiritually, some people you can talk business, some you can do all of the above. But there are some that I just talk to. They know like everything. We talk honestly, and I think it's good to have that. But you do want to be mindful and always have discernment in what you share, because what you share is really private to you. You just want to make sure the people that you embrace receive it the same way as you receive their confidence, and have confidence with them. So I just think it's a matter of knowing your group, knowing who you're working with, knowing how they move, and dealing with them on that level and not getting offended because you know them. So
No one has.
this one I can roll with this one, yeah, I'm not gonna have that conversation.
Oh,
I know how you get down, so it's
oh,
all good.
oh.
And there's
See,
nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with
It's
that.
You right,
Just
absolutely
Gina.
not.
is,
But
Not
is,
wait a minute,
is,
Trey.
is Pookie coming out?
You right, Gina. But Gina be right on stuff. Gina said, "Listen, you're not about to hear this." Were you about to say something, Sheila?
I was just getting ready to say, and this is something we were talking about before we went live, but just look at all of us, how in tuned we are with each other, because we're all in terms of the color of our clothing, we're all in sync. And that
yes,
it's
I was.
not planned. It's not planned. It just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
this is the next thing. Go ahead, Theo. Will you?
I was gonna say, talking about what Gina said, like I have a friend, right? Like we literally call her the vault. She is that friend that will not tell anybody's business. So if you
Oh,
want something to go to the grave, that's the friend you talk to. Like we literally, that's her nickname, the vault, right? So you got to have that one person where whatever you tell them, you know it's not going anywhere. Like they taking it to the grave.
I love it.
That's
That's
me.
how. That's our motto. That's our motto. Me and my girl take it to the grave. Like, listen, when me and my best friend, my oldest and dearest friend, had a falling out because we had a falling out because of my foolishness. I was doing the most, and she had to do some tough love on me. But when we were not speaking to each other, folks was coming asking us questions like my ex-husband, they was trying to get we like, I never knew, I never even that don't know who told you that, like we no, that's not, because we had said from when we was like 12, 13 years old, take it to the grave. We got this joke, if anything happened to me when I'm with you, stomp my phone, just kill it, just don't reset it, just stomp my phone, because whatever's in there, and nobody else need to know. So let's talk about why this is really why I wanted to do this, because I wanted women who are watching to understand the importance of platonic friendships, right? Platonic relationships, because we talk about relationships with men all the time. And this is the woman to woman show. So this is for women, and men can probably glean from it too. But we talk about romantic relationships all the time. And so many times as women, we get lost in a romantic relationship and we lose contact with our besties, we lose contact with our core, we lose contact with the people that we need in our life. And when the relationship goes awry, we become embarrassed, isolated, ashamed, and we don't feel like we could come back. So I wanted to talk about this because I wanted women to understand the importance of having relationships outside of your romantic relationships, people who you can go to and count on when that thing is still working. Because one, it alleviates a lot of stress in a relationship when a woman doesn't put a whole bunch of pressure on the man. Because we talk, and then this and that, and I know, and your man is like, yo, girl, could you go tell your girlfriends that? So I wanted us to just touch on that a bit, how important it is to keep ourselves, our individuality when it comes to us and being in romantic relationships. And what have you seen? Because I've had, some friends who I ain't hear from them once they got a man. I mean, I was like, well, I understand. I know the gravy is good over there, but dang, you can't pick the phone up or you can't hang out at all. So, what do you guys have to say about that? Anybody can come in.
So
Go ahead.
I will say that, I would say at least most of my core, there's this understanding, right? Like we're gonna make time for the dude that we're with, but they going in out of the gate, they know that how we roll. They know we travel together at least once a year, right? And so, it's established that these are my girls. They're like family. They're not even friends. They're sisters, right? And we do everything together. And so there has to be an understanding that there are going to be times when, I'm going to have to take some time away from you to spend with my girls, right? And if my girl needs me, I'm going to be there for her. Like most guys I date, it is important that they have their own lives, right? Because if you're thinking that like you don't have any friends and you don't do anything, like it's at some point it's not gonna work, even as much as I try. Because if you don't have your own life, you're gonna expect me to give you all of my time, and I'm not gonna be able to do that, because besides my friends, I also spend time with my family. Right. And so I've learned to balance it all out, like be in a relationship, spend time with my friends, spend time with my family. A lot of my friend groups, some of them overlap, right? Some don't. Sometimes family and friends overlap. So dude has to be able to go into that mix, but also has to understand when I need some time away so that I can just like get that. Because it's something you get from your girls, right? That you're not going to get from a relationship.
I love that. Something you get from your girls. Netta, I wanted you to jump in, and you, Sheila, and Regina, because you guys are married. I wanted you guys to jump in and just talk about the pressure of. There's a balance there of not putting too much on your husband, but not taking too much away from him. How do you balance that, Netta, when it comes to friendships and how much information you pour into him as opposed to the platonic relationships that you maintain over the years?
It was fairly simple for us because we each had our group of friends prior to, as we were individuals. So there was an understanding when we became a married couple that those individuals still held special places in our lives, although we were, looking out for each other first, because the first ministry is at home. But after that, we both encouraged each other because there is a recharge that you get from those special connections with your girlfriends, and he as well with his dude friends. I don't want to talk about sports. That's not my thing, but that's his thing. And he needs somebody to connect with him on that level. So we both were very understanding and supportive, and still are, of those connections. We can go through things as a couple and have those strong private connections with our girlfriends, and him with his guy friends, where we know those are confidence. Like you said, those that are, it's a vault. It's not going anywhere. And you can trust that they're going to pour something of substance into you, and also like course correct you if you're out of order. Say, you know what, you might want to rethink that part. So it's good to have connections with girlfriends for us and guy friends for him, so that we can balance and then come back together excited to see each other.
I love that. Them healthy relationships, those healthy platonic relationships where you have people to bring you back when you about to be messy, and not your wife or not your husband, to bring you back when you about to be messy, because it's something that you need to get from a, like you said, your husband might need to get something from one of his boys. Like, nah, man, you don't even sound right saying that. Like you now you talking crazy. Now I'm telling you talking crazy. Your wife don't got to tell you talking crazy. You talk crazy, and it could be a private conversation where he does not feel judged by his significant other. Gina or Sheila?
Okay. I think one of the key words that you mentioned is healthy. So you want to make sure that you need that. We both need that, right? Because if you're together as a couple, and then if there are children involved, you're already entangled. You know, you're married or you're together, then you have children. So you need to be able to take a time out and be with women that know you and that knew you before, you know, you became mom or wife,
Mm.
and they know you as yourself, your enthusiastic self. If you you know, you got a different level of sarcasm, but they know you, and they love you as you are, and you love them. And in love, if they see that you're a little out of pocket or that you are taking on a lot, they can in love, you know, be there for you and support you. Again, healthy, and also I'm the vault. When people, I'm the vault. Like, there's certain things my husband be like, "Oh, you went out with your friend, how's everything?" I'm like, she's fine, you know, because like I don't tell stuff. Like I've lost a job because I didn't tell something. I got, you know, they offered me the job back when they found out I was right. But anyway, that's another sidebar. But the point, is, you also want to be there for others the way they're there for you. So it's a balance when you have a family, and you want to respect that. But I'm with Netta. Like, you need your time out, like they need theirs, because there's just certain things. No matter how much understanding and love you have between the two of you, and that's beautiful. The more you have them for each other, the better. But it's just certain things that a man will understand from a man, and a woman will understand from a woman. Now, here's the deal, and this is really important. There are times when you're going through stuff in your relationship. You please, please, please be careful in those periods where you feel a little vulnerable who you share that with. Because sometimes they may be rooting for you, but there may be a little haterade in the lemonade. So you
Mm.
just want to be careful, right? You know your people. Like I said, you know your groups, and we all got groups. Some groups you gonna tell something to, they got you. Some be like, nah, she too, you know, she gonna do a little too. That's not where I'm going with that conversation. So I'm not gonna talk to her about that. So you just want to be mindful of that thing, because at the end of the day, when you marry, y'all a couple, and like Netta said, your first ministry is your family, and you want to protect that. So you also want to be mindful what you share, because there's certain things that are between you and your husband, and it's not for fodder or conversation, even when you pissed. So
Mm.
you got to be mindful of that, and honor the fact that you are married and you are in a relationship, and be mindful what you share,
Yes, and
right?
on
Protect
that,
that.
yes, and on that note too, sometimes you have to know your people. Like
Yeah.
my girls, let me tell you, my girls, we confide in each other. I have three that are married, one that's not married too, but three that are married, and they confide in us. Like, sometimes your husband get on your nerves. Like, he getting on my nerves. I can't stand him. Blah blah this blah. Blah. When they come back the next day and say, we went to the movies, we went out to dinner, we had a good time last
Right.
night. Was it? We not thinking about what we talked about like last week. That's gone. We know people go through stuff, and you have to have those girlfriends that ain't gonna be like, oh, she was just complaining about him last night, and now all of a sudden this morning she all booed up. That's the way relationships are, and a lot of us have women around us who hold. This is like Gina said. This is very important. Some people you don't share with because they'll still be mad at your husband, boyfriend, boo, fiance when you laid up, booed up, watching Netflix and chill. They'll still be mad, and when they see you, they'll be like, "Oh, you all booed up now." Yeah, like we not was gonna What you thought we was getting a divorce? Like, what you thought we was breaking up? I just came to you as a sounding board. So for the women who are listening, when your crew comes to you with an issue about their significant other, it is just your place to listen. It is not your place to give advice unless they ask. It is not your place to be mad when they are no longer mad. Mind your business. They told you what they said. Yep, he was getting on my nerves yesterday, but today he my boo, my king, my prince, my everything. So I'm gonna need you to go have several seats, and I don't need you to be mad at my husband if we decide to make this relationship work. Go somewhere and leave it alone. Come on in, Sheila.
You know, it all gets back to that balance, because there were people in my husband's life that shaped him, that helped mold him before I came into the picture. And it's the same thing with me. There are people, male and female, that have contributed to the person that I am today. And they still play a vital role in my life. And we have that understanding that's what's going to happen, because we are not in a vacuum. Our relationship is not in a vacuum. And if we want our relationship to be healthy, then we know that we have to be able to give love and to give friendship and to give a smile or just a lend an ear to other people who have played roles in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and again, you know, you be careful. Yes, definitely about who you let in. Um, you talked about how you could be mad at your significant other one day and then be all right the next. Because oftentimes it's because you got that balance where you can actually sit back and say, dang nabbit, what was I mad about?
Right.
You know? So that's just it. It's again, it gets back to that balance and knowing what is healthy for you and your partner.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Come on,
Yep.
Professor.
And you have to have those friends, right? That when you are in that relationship, that they side eyeing you on, and they know you shouldn't be in it. That when it's all over, they ain't gonna say "told you so." They ain't gonna beat you over the head with it. When you come crying, they just gonna open their arms and say, "Come on, girl," and you know, and you always got the ones in the crew that they gonna represent for you. Like if they need, you know, like if you need them to handle something, but you do have to have those girls that are just is not gonna like hold stuff over your head, right?
Yes.
Like they just gonna love you. They just gonna love you through it.
Yeah.
Yes. Shayla, I wanted to ask you, you said that you have a friend who got married and you know the relationship got distant, but not in a bad way. We all know that when people get married, they got other responsibilities than us single people. We got all this time on our hands, really, but not really. We ain't got no whole bunch of time either. But I wanted to talk about the importance of nurturing those relationships. How do you maintain and nurture that relationship with your good girlfriend who is now married?
Well, we're talking years. We're talking over probably close to 30 years. And when she got married young. She was in her 20s, and we joked about that. And when we watched the kids that are now, you know, in their 20s, and we were like, "You were married already at the age that they're at, having your first and second kid." Um, we you know I give the space that's needed, and you know whenever I a lot of times whenever I miss her, then I would either send a text or give her a call, and if she's available we'll chit chat and we'll try to catch up. And the same thing with her, like she would, you know, sometimes out of the blue, like we haven't spoken in months, and then out of the blue I would get a text message from her, you know, either in the morning or just a quick you know, how you doing? Hope everything is well. I was thinking about you, I was praying, you know, just those quick things, because we both have really busy schedules. So, but whenever we think of each other, and our connection was so, I would say for me, so deep that there were many a times that when I reached out to her, or when she was in my mind, on my mind, and I reached out, something had happened, either
Mm,
with her or a family member or something, not always bad or not always like really serious stuff, but there was some kind of event that took place whenever she came into my spirit. So I kind of, you know, respect their marriage. And I was talking to somebody about something else, and her husband is like my brother. Like he will mess somebody up if they try to mess with me, okay? But I respect the fact that they are married, and I will never go over to their house if she's not there.
Oh, I love that. Oh, 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 oh,
And
oh.
that's across the board, like any of my male friends or friends that are married. I will not find myself in their house if their spouse is not there.
Wow.
That's a absolute no. Just like with that other situation that I told you guys about before. I don't care what, you know, I respect and the reason I respect marriage so much is because one day I want to be married.
I-
And I feel that, that you receive what you give. So I am sowing those seeds of respect for marriages and
mm,
relationships, you
mm.
know. For the male friends that I have, whenever we have a telephone conversation about whatever, chit chat and shooting the breeze, when I end that conversation, please tell your wife I said hello. Give her my regards. I hope she's well. All of that. Whether they do it, that's on them. But at least I know I'm giving that wife that respect. If I'm meeting somebody for the first time, I'm meeting, someone's spouse, a wife. Usually it's a wife. I introduce myself. I make myself friendly so that there is no reason to think that I am in some way, kind of form, any kind of threat. 'Cause I'm not trying to do that.
I know that's right. 'Cause
Not this girl.
that's so good. And having platonic male friends is important for us as women, right? As single women and as married women, it is important to have male figures in your life who don't have any skin in the game,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, who can tell you the truth about you without being punished by you taking away sex from them, or you
Hmm.
not cooking, or you walking around with your lips poked out. They could just really be honest with you and be like, Trey, like, yo, my best male friend Demo Wet, I love him to death because the respect that we have for each other and the respect that we have for each other when we are in relationships is impeccable. I need for his whoever he's with to understand that I respect your place in his life, right? And I respect the fact that I don't care how long I knew him before you are his best friend now until further notice. And when you marry him, you are his best friend forever. I don't get that title. I say he's one of my best male friends, but he is
Hmm.
not my best friend. That is the place of his wife when he has one. So we got to
Exactly.
be clear on that when it comes. That's why a lot of people say, "Oh, you can't have no platonic. You can't have male and female friends." There's a level of maturity that is required for two people to be platonic when they are of the opposite sex. And everybody don't have that level of maturity. And for the wives here, you know who they are. You know, like,
Yeah.
please go somewhere and sit down. Just because you don't
Right.
see it don't mean I don't see it. So it's
Trey,
eight. Yeah, go
But
ahead.
oh,
it's important
I
for
just, I'm sorry.
I was gonna
I
say
just
it's also
Go ahead. Go ahead, Sheila.
all right, Shayla.
I just wanted to add that I noticed that, and I can say that for myself because this was my mentality before I went through something, is that it's easy when you've not experienced anything to give your opinion and your thoughts and say, well, I wouldn't do this and you should do that and whatever. But once you've experienced something, you've experienced life for yourself, then you sit back and you realize, oh wow, I was wrong about that. Let me just hold a corner, like we would say back
Oh,
home. Let me just hold a corner and mind my business, because I find that if you have not matured in a certain in life period, if you have not experienced life and gone through some things, you really don't have an opinion on somebody else's situation.
I love it. Come on in, Theo.
And I was gonna say it's important when you talk about having platonic male friends for not only for you to set the tone, but for them to be very you know, definitive about them setting the tone. I remember one of my male best friends, right? When he started dating the girl that he was getting serious about, like he made sure we met each other, right?
Mhm.
She and to this day, like she and I then developed our own relationship. But he went into it saying, "This is like one of my good friends. Like we used to work together, right? This is one of my good friends. You know, we hang out." But he was very intentional also about making his future wife, because she's his wife now, feel comfortable with our friendship.
I love it. That's when you know it's gonna be the wife. When he
Right.
intentional about letting the sister know, like, this is my good friend. She gonna be around. I just need you to be comfortable so we don't have no mishaps when she show up at the wedding. You don't have no mishaps when you see her name in my phone Let's just do this and be clear. Let's do our therapy card because it's 8:30. We're supposed to do it at 8:30. It's 8:35. We want to get our therapy in. We want to do our session, our therapy cards. Netta, you can come in and tell where the therapy cards came from and what our thought, question, and concern is for the night. I'm scared. I'm scared.
Okay, so these are called My Therapy Cards. They are by psychologist Dr. Ebony, and you can find it at, I think it's mytherapycards.com. And it's absolutely wonderful for conversation, as you will see. So what I did tonight was I pulled 3 cards. So let's see what we get. It says, finish this sentence. Oh boy.
Uh-oh. Oh no.
Oh God.
Oh,
When I feel insecure in a relationship with others, and it has a blank, and it says, afterwards, you're going to journal or discuss with someone you trust ways you respond to insecurity. Is it a projection? Why or why not? So when I feel insecure in a relationship with others, I what?
anybody can pop in, and if somebody could type that in the chat, I would love for the viewers to be able to answer and see that as well. When
When
I
I
feel,
feel insecure in a relationship with others,
do I got to call on somebody? Come on,
I'll
Shayla.
do
I'm
it.
saying,
Go ahead,
Okay.
Shayla.
oh, I feel like I'm not needed.
Wow. Say that whole
What?
sentence.
When I'm sorry, read it again, Monetta.
when I feel insecure in a relationship with others,
I feel like I'm not needed.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's right. We're going to come back around. I feel like I'm not needed. When I feel insecure in a relationship, Regina.
When I feel insecure in a relationship, I sometimes dumb it down.
Oh, oh.
Like, y'all know I like the jokey joke, but I'm very passionate, even in my humor. But when I feel insecure, I just kind of stay low key.
Wow.
Like you don't get the full range of my Regina-ness.
Theo, you want to come in next?
Sure. When I feel insecure in a relationship with others, I go into introvert mode because I'm an extrovert introvert, right? So I go into introvert mode and become more observant, right? So I'm kind of sitting back in the cut and I'm just kind of feeling everything out.
Oh, I love it. Sheila?
When I feel insecure in a relationship with others, I become a detective looking for something that is not there.
Wow. When I feel insecure in a relationship with others, I basically ignore them because they really don't exist to me because I feel like really inside my mind, they are shining a light on something that is not right with me. So I don't know why they're trying to make me feel insecure, but I try to make like they don't exist so my insecurity can go away. Netta?
I withdraw. I
Um,
get really quiet because I'm an introvert to begin with. And, I'm a strengths coach. So my anchor strength is responsibility, which is total and complete loyalty and honesty. So it's against everything that's in me if I'm insecure. So I withdraw and I observe. I'm gonna watch for a while. And after that, I probably will ask some questions.
wow. I love this. A lot of people in the comments said
Yeah, I was
they,
gonna say that's comments.
yeah, a lot of people in the comments. Brittany said I shut down and lose all communication skills. Takesha said I dismiss myself. Brittany said that's me big time. Bridget said I clam up and don't communicate, which is not.
Mhm.
Lots of people said they withdraw. Okay, so
Yeah.
we have to it just makes me, like I said, it makes me just want the person to go away because I feel like
Yeah.
they're kind of sort of doing something to me. Maybe most of the time when I feel insecure in a person, let's we don't hash this thing out. When I feel insecure around the person, I think they make me feel like I should shrink myself because I'm being too much when I'm really not. I'm just this is who I am. I mean, I can't shrink my size. Like I'm tall.
Mm-hmm.
My hair is big. I'm extremely light. Like these are like just my DNA.
Mm-hmm.
When they make me feel insecure, they make me feel like I came in a room doing something wrong. So I ignore and dismiss them, not myself. Because
Mm-hmm.
for me internally, it's something wrong with you because you trying to make me feel small, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anybody else want to chime in?
Yes, I wanted to say I think it's a protection.
Mm-hmm.
So we find a way to control the situation.
Yeah.
Mhm. It's
It's
the
it's
fight or flight.
yeah. And I was gonna say because and I think because all of us have done the work in some way, right? We still may have that level of insecurity, but because we have done the work, we have now learned, right, how to protect ourselves from that insecurity, right? But without damaging somebody else,
Right.
Right.
right?
Right.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so
Yes.
that's the important thing about doing the work,
Now
right?
let's talk about that's so important, Theo, for everybody listening. We handle when because usually because we've learned when I walk in the room and somebody makes me feel insecure or makes me feel uncomfortable, I've learned that it's because I'm a big presence. But I've done work to say, I'm still gonna work this room, and they don't exist to me until they warm up and be are kind to me because I'm kind to everybody. But when you give me that energy, I have the right to bow face and go in another direction. I'm
Mhm.
always hello, but when I we all feel negative energy,
Yeah.
so we understand. So let's talk about right now the importance of nurturing relationships because there are so many lopsided relationships where even with Jesus, right? It says we're supposed to spend time with God. We only go to God when we need something, and we
Mm,
expect Him to move at the speed of light. Like, Lord, my kidney or my leg, my bank account. We ain't had a relationship with Him in months. We ain't prayed. We ain't said thank you for the things that I have. We have not nurtured that relationship, but we're expecting things, right? So let's talk about
mhm,
Mm.
nurturing the relationships around us. And I'm not good at this. I'm gonna say this about myself, right? I'm just gonna be really, really. I'm gonna be real transparent right now, and then I'm gonna pass the mic. I have people who have told me, like people in my family, my best male friend, almost every day he sends me a wonderful morning message, a prayer, a blessing. So I've been trying to send him something before he sends me something because I noticed how lopsided it was. I noticed that Theo sends me cards in the mail, right? It's just not in my nature to respond, but I have to correct that because I don't ever want it to be lopsided. I want it to be, give and take, reciprocity. So I'm working on that. Like I'm working on texting somebody out of the blue, to say, because I think about the people, I'm just running at 55 miles an hour, but we have to understand nurturing relationships requires us to be responsible and accountable and to not make excuses when somebody's checking on you and loving on you and you're not giving it back. So how do you guys nurture the relationships around you and are you good at it?
So I would say for me, right, I do it without expecting it back, right? Which because it eventually comes back. So like for me, I know the people, right, that I'm dealing with. So and they know me because sometimes I'm in a mode where I'm not reaching out and I'm not being in, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. But like I'm gonna use you for an example, right? Like I send you cards because I'm thinking about you and I want to send you cards, right? And so I do it. But I know that if I pick up the phone at any time of day or night, you're on the other end. You're going to answer, right? So for me, that's the reciprocity, right? That takes away it being lopsided
Mm,
because it for me, it's just that's just my nature, right? So usually if I do something, it's because I want to do it. If I'm not checking for you, I'm not doing it. I'm just keep it real. right? But for the people that like I love and whatever, and I nurture, what I'm trying to get better at is doing it with my family, because I tend to connect more, right, with friends. So now I notice for the last 2 or 3 years, I am spending more time talking to members of my family. Like last night, I was on the phone with one of my cousins, one of my male cousins, for about an hour, just catching up and talking, right? And the other night with one of my other younger cousins. So I will say for me, I don't really look at it as lopsidedness, because I think when you really have those true core friends, you know them and you know their heart.
I love that. Yes, because I listen. I don't pick up the phone for everybody, but certain people. Netta called me the other day, and I was doing something. I don't remember what I was doing, but I was busy. But I was like, "Hey, what we doing over there, huh? What we doing?" So my nurturing. Thank you, Theo, because my nurturing is I will pick that phone up for the people that I love and care about, and it won't be a hesitation. Who wanted to come in next? How do you
I,
nurture?
I'll come in.
Okay.
I've actually learned through losing some friends
Oh,
Be- because I got so engrossed in being a mom and being in a relationship, and then sometimes when things in the relationship were going a little crazy, or I just felt like I was being pulled in maybe five different places because I have four children. They're young adults now, but I didn't know how to pause and say, let me reach out to see how this person is doing. And they're beautiful people. To this day they're lovely, lovely, lovely people. But I just got so immersed in, what I thought I was supposed to do, right? Being a mom was a full time gig, being in a relationship. So I was making sure I had to, took care of my family stuff. I didn't want to mess it up by, you know, being narrow and not being there for my family. So some of my good friends that I really did were very fond of. I didn't call. So I've learned from that because I missed their friendship, and I had to learn that it's okay to reach out and say, even just to say, hey, I know I've been busy, it's been crazy, but you've been on my mind. How you doing? So because I learned from that by losing some beautiful people that I really treasured, but I didn't know how to have that and be 100% with my children and in my marriage, and then for my family, I was like, dang, how many places am I supposed to, I'm only one person, right? But then as I got mature, and I'm like, oh, but I don't have to call them like every day. I could call them, a couple weeks and stuff like that. So now some people I've known for like the past 10 years, we are really good friends because I've learned how to reciprocate. I've
yeah,
learned how to pick up that phone or send a text, and they know that I genuinely got love for them and they got love for me, and we have friendships, different ones, but there's some really beautiful relationships because I've learned how to nurture that on my end, right? Because I care about them, and I realized from the ones that I let go because I felt like I was doing too much, that you can never do enough and pause and say, hey, let me call this person I really care about. They've made a positive impact. We vibe together on so many positive things. Let me reach out. So I've learned how to do that over the years. I've gotten so much better. I, you know, um, I used to be, I would say, I've done like a 320 from the way I was.
I love that you said I learned how to nurture relationships by losing some.
Yeah.
Very important because I'm sure that we've all lost some along the journey. Shayla, you want to come in?
Yeah, and I want to again go back to that whole maturity mentality, and knowing your friends, knowing the people that you call friends and that you're close to, and getting to know their personality, and who they are, and accept them for who they are. Because it took me a while, because I would be on the other end. I was always pouring, pouring, pouring. But after a while, you want to be, reciprocated. And when I found that I was not getting reciprocated in the way that I was pouring out, I was feeling some type of way. So again, when I had to think about, okay, who these people are. It's not that they're doing it intentionally. This is just how their life is going right now. And, eventually they will reach out, if they don't, then so be it. But I started to learn not to take it personal. But I do think it comes with a level of maturity and understanding who you are, understanding the people that you call your friends, and take it in that direction, rather than always feeling some type of way. And just like I did, I felt some type of way, but I had to understand that, it's not always about me, and it's not always going to be, people are not going to treat me the way I treat people, or I shouldn't expect people to treat me the way I treat them, because everybody's different. So,
I love
Sh-
that. I love
Shayla,
it.
can I say
yes, ma'am.
something?
Sure.
On behalf of me being in that club of not nurturing friends, I want to apologize to you for all of
Oh,
those who didn't know how to nurture your friendship and appreciate you and the
Oh,
beauty that you are, what you offer. So I'm
you made me
apologizing on
cry.
their behalf.
you gonna make us all cry. Now
No.
you wanted to come in.
Thank you.
How do you
You're
nurture
welcome.
y'all? Listen.
I mean,
Sometimes you gotta apologize for for the people that don't even know that they're doing it. Or,
mhm,
again, life happens and it's hard, but
mhm,
we gotta be responsible and accountable. And I appreciate your
mhm.
accountability, Gina. Netta, you wanted to come in?
Sure. So back to that whole strengths conversation. I am a relationship builder. That's who God created me to be. So I am the card sender. I am the caller, the texter. I just want to hear your voice person. um, I w- I pour in the way that I would like to receive. Now, I can't put that expectation on others because everybody is uniquely created. Everybody's not going to respond that way because everybody is not a relationship builder per se, but you do it in your own way, Trey. Like Theo was saying, you're there. I know that about you. So I can't walk into relationships with assumptions.
Mm,
Communication is a huge part of creating and building relationships. And in that communication, there is some learning taking place, which means you should know how that person operates and what the expectation is in the relationship. If you're not getting something, you can say, I really would love to hear from you on occasion. Is that something you're able
Mhm,
to do?
yep. Oh, oh
mhm.
Lord. Come on. Netta be coming through with the
Yeah.
big bang.
I
Like,
love that.
somebody said that to me though. They said, listen, I'm not complaining, but you know, you'll never pick the phone up and call me or check on me.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, and I thought about it, and they weren't the first person that said it to me. So I said, you know what? Let me check myself. Sheila, how do you nurture your relationships?
I'm really really bad at picking up the phone, texting. Just like Tracy, you were saying, I am a work in progress, and I used to be that one who would buy not a book, but I'd buy a roll of stamps because I'm sending Christmas cards to everybody. I'm sending birthday cards to everybody. And I really don't do that. And the truth of the matter is that if I don't get that back, it doesn't bother me that much. But then I realized too that I am more of an in-person type of chick. I
Yes.
like to be around people. I've never been one who's been on the phone. Um, if you send me a dissertation in a text,
Yeah.
and that it's going to take me an hour to respond because I still haven't gotten the text
Mhm.
down. I don't know what half the emojis stand for, but if you
Right.
say, let's go out and let's go have some breakfast, I'm there because I like to be present physically.
Oh, I love,
Mhm.
what? I love this conversation. I love this conversation because we have to start to tell people, like, me too. Like, I don't. I'd rather you pick the phone up and call me,
Mhm.
really, because I really don't feel like texting. Like, I've started to pick the phone up now. Like, somebody will text me and I'll just be like, why don't you just call? Like, what you need? Like, I don't feel like texting like a whole conversation because
Right.
it be taking too much time for me because I'm 52. Like, we not. It's not, because the world has told us that technology is taking over. We weren't raised like that, so we not sitting like, I'm just like, yo, what are you texting me for? Like, what do you need? Like, why are you in
Right.
my Facebook inbox? Like my sister, like I'm like, she's communicating with me on Instagram. I'm like, you got my phone number. Like, why are you in my inbox on Instagram? I'm not understanding, but I get it with her that in that moment she thought about me, so she Instagrammed me. So we just have to learn
Yeah.
like our love languages.
I
We
was just thinking that.
Because I was gonna say it's crazy because I have friends that I could have a whole conversation with via text, right? But then I have friends who, it's the phone. Because I'm really not a phone person. Like it's limited time. And if I'm on the phone with you for a long time, it means I haven't spoken to you in a while. And so I kind of cater to the person's style, right?
yes,
Um, in a sense. But I'm also that person that I I'm okay with the person that decides that they gonna walk out of my life for whatever reason. Because in my mind, then you really wasn't my friend. Because honestly, I have a girlfriend, like true story. We were friends in junior high school, like to the point where we used to dress alike, cook it. The last time I saw her was like at her wedding, like in the 90s, right? Years later, we connected on Facebook, met up for dinner, and you would have thought we had just saw each other yesterday. And from that point forward, stay in contact,
wow,
right? To me, that's a friend,
Yeah.
yes,
right? That's my friend. Like years went by, there was no, oh, I haven't heard from you. Why hadn't you been in touch? It was like, yo, let's meet up for dinner. We met in the city, we talked, found out we both were in HR, and from that point forward, we was like, okay, now we're gonna do better. Every other month or every month, we're gonna meet up, we're gonna go to dinner, we're gonna do Zooms, whatever. And so for me, those are people who I consider my real friends because what people life is life,
yes,
right? I'm gonna lose touch. It's not that I forgot about you, it's just that something might be going on. And so for me, if I could not talk to you for a while and we pick up on the phone and it's like I spoke to you yesterday, we good. Like that
Right.
person, oh, you haven't done.
I think
I've gotten the Dear John letters from friends that say, oh, you're not a real good friend, whatever. I'm like, well, I know the type of friend that I am. If you feel that way, okay.
love this. I love that we have these conversations. We have 3 minutes left in the hour. So we're gonna go around the room and give our final thoughts. But if you just tuned in, you're tuned into the Woman to Woman show. You are here with me and the Beauty Flies. We are enjoying real conversation, raw conversation, things that we think women of Generation X age should have space to discuss. You know what I'm saying? Women 50 and above of a certain age who have topics that we just need to talk about. We need to be reminded that we need to nurture our relationships sometimes. We need to be reminded that we're not superwoman sometimes. We need to be reminded that motherhood is the ghetto. We need to be reminded sometimes of some things. We need to be able to be free to say these things to each other without judgment, without
Right.
shame, without blame, without somebody looking at you like you're crazy because you said something. And we live in a society right now where every time you say something, you're shaming, blaming, phobic, and it's like we need to have these conversations. I'm so glad we could talk about relationships tonight outside of romance and how important it is for us to have other people to lean on. So let's go around the room and give our final thoughts. Let's start with you, Sheila. I'm gonna go backwards.
And no matter what the relationship is, you always have to be your authentic self, because that's what people are going to see. And they are either going to gravitate to it and stick with it, or they're not going to be able to handle it and walk away. And you have to be okay with that. As long as you are being true to yourself, that light is going to shine for others. And they'll either be a part of it or they're not. And if they're not a part of it, it's because they were on a different wavelength.
I love it, love it,
Mhm.
love it. Come on, Theo.
I would say when if someone come to your mind or you're thinking about someone, reach out. However you do it, phone, text, or whatever. Especially now because there are so many people going through so much, and so many people deciding that they're all alone and decide that they're going to end their lives. right? And sometimes you don't know if just picking up the phone just to check on somebody or to say hello, right, that you could have prevented, right, at least for that moment, that person feeling like they're all alone.
Nina?
Wow, I was going to go a different route, but I want to emphasize what Sheila and what Theo said. Um, be who you are because you'll attract the realness. If you put out a facade, you're gonna get that back, and then that relationship isn't going to work anyway because neither one of y'all are being real with each other, and we too grown for that. Like I don't got time for that, right? So, um, be your authentic self, and also, um, it's okay to care and reach out. And you know what, life happens. I realize as I've matured that you don't have to be embarrassed because things happen, right? Because that's how the people you care about don't know what's going on because you're embarrassed. You don't have to be embarrassed because you're living life and you're growing through your experiences. If there's someone out there that you care about and you've been a friend and they've been friends with you, reach out. And when you do reach out, be who you are. Be your authentic self so they can respect, love, and receive you based on who you really are. Because that's who they need to be with.
Love it. Netta?
Um, everybody needs love. Everybody. I don't care how the person may appear in terms of that strong friend who has
Mhm.
everything together. No, strong people need love too. The other thing I'll say is don't assume. Assumptions can end very healthy relationships. They have because of communication lacking. You got to talk. The only way to do that is to reach out. So show love in that way, but don't force something that's not to be.
Hmm.
Um, again, check on your strong friends and do it with pure intentions.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Shayla?
Well, they all kind of summed it up. But I would want to address the younger women and their relationships. I've watched a group of young ladies at my church that they started out friends. I guess they were about 12, 13, and now they're all, grown. Some are married, have children, and I've watched their friendship blossom. And I think it's about five of them, and their friendship is very strong. But I want to address those that may feel that um their friend has neglected them, or anything like that. Check yourself as to what you're doing with your life, because sometimes we can become so needy and so dependent on our friendships and our friends that we don't realize that we ourselves need to get, and I say we because I was there, we need to get our own life going and our own interests and hobbies and whatever going. So, check yourself. Don't neglect your friendships, but if you're too dependent on them and if they've become your life, then you need to check yourself and make sure that you are not um, putting all of yourself, that their world, how does it say, like you're not revolving around their world. Find yourself.
Yes.
If
I'm
that
gonna,
makes sense.
that
Hopefully that
makes,
makes sense.
yeah, that makes so much sense. Shayla said, your world should not revolve around the friendship, and it should. It really shouldn't. And I'm just going to say, on my journey of having four really close friends for over 30 years, people will ask, what's the formula to that? I'm going to say, be the friend that you want and need, and you will attract the friends that you
Yes.
want and need. Be authentic, nurture your friendships. When I say nurture, I'm not talking about we got to talk every day, we got to be on top of each other. I'm saying me and my girls, we have a group, a 4-4 chat. Every morning I send a prayer. We send each other messages, jokes. We talk Bitmoji more than we really talk as humans. We really got a lot of Bitmoji going on. And that's our language of love for each other all throughout the day. Some more than others some days, some more than others other days. But we are in that core the friends that we want. We are the friends to each other, the to become the friends that we need. So I just want to thank my beauty flies. Sheila, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, before we close out, we do in the comments, we do have Brittany Brown who's letting us know that Bella is having surgery tomorrow. So as we close out, she would like us to say a prayer.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask Netta to pray for Bella and everyone else. I'm sorry, Netta. You know I'm gonna put somebody in the spot. I got Theo last time, so ladies, watch out because you may be next.
Gracious Lord, we just want to thank you for this day. Thank you for this time. Thank you for being God all by yourself. Lord, we're coming to you on behalf of Bella, who is having surgery tomorrow. Lord, you're already in tomorrow, so let her or him be confident in that, knowing that you're already there and the need is already met. Lord, we ask you to touch every healthcare professional who is assigned to the case. Let them be well rested. Let them be on their A game, and let them do the excellent job that you've designed them to do in that particular moment. We ask you to cover every family member who will be supportive, be in the post operative process so that the healing doesn't take as long as they may assume it will, because you're God and you can do anything. And we're trusting you to have your way in this situation, and just bless each of us tonight as we sign off. Bless everyone who's attended and listened. Bless us all to be excellent friends who exemplify your love one to another. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 We touch
Amen.
and agree the prayer
Amen.
of faith together for baby Bella, and we know that she is going to come through better
Yes.
than when she went. And we declare and decree right now that she is healed in the name of
For
Jesus.
Jesus. Yep.
Yes. In the name of
Yes.
Jesus.
Jesus, that God is the surgeon, God
Yes.
is the anesthesiologist, God is the nurses, God is the doctor. There are, we ask God to dispatch angels all around baby Bella, and we ask Him to dispatch angels around her parents, and children, love, comfort, and peace to know that He is the great I am. He can do anything but fail. So again, if you just tuned in, you tuned into the Woman to Woman show. We thank you for tuning in tonight. We don't take it lightly. It's a privilege to be in your life, in your living room, in your phone, on your desktop, on your laptop, listening to us virtual. We thank you so much. Follow us on Instagram at W2W Show, W, the number 2W Show. Please subscribe to the New You Nation Network YouTube channel, and don't forget to share, because sharing is caring. Again, we believe that truth plus transparency is healing. Remember, you are only as sick as your secrets. It's healing time. See you next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Women to Women Show on the New Nation Network. Ciao. Thank you, beauty flies. I love y'all.
Thank you. Love you, ladies.
Bye. Love
Love you.
y'all.